Hello everyone and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Before season 19 premieres, Jenelle Brown, star of Sister Wives, discusses Garrison Brown. Undoubtedly, Kody and Jenelle are going through a very painful time as a result of their son's untimely death. She does, however, discuss the heartbreaking lesson she discovered after losing her son, Garrison. Jenelle Brown discusses Garrison's demise. The Brown family's world undoubtedly came to an abrupt stop on March 5, 2024, when they discovered that Garrison Brown had taken his own life. Even though the news was devastating, the Brown family is managing without him. However, just 6 months after the death and ahead of Sister Wives Season 19's premiere, Jenelle Brown has made the decision to talk about mental health in the hopes that others will benefit from the insight she has gained over time. Regretfully, Jenelle Brown, star of Sister Wives, claims that they were unprepared for Garrison Brown's suicide. Although she is aware that substance abuse can deceive users, she acknowledges that it played a role in the situation and says, "We just had no idea that he was in that place. But she didn't anticipate it." Like Robyn Williams, she observes, "But he never expressed any kind of extreme sad feelings." She also characterizes his final days as, "In fact, he was very funny, very upbeat." She also notes that she saw a lot of positive things happen in his life. She continues, "He was enthusiastic about his job path. To be honest, Jenelle and her family were shocked to learn that he had a life and friends. She never imagined it would turn out this way," she said. Jenelle Brown claims that by all measures, they saw no conventional warning indicators. Of particular note was how often he conversed and engaged with family members. He was thrilled to adopt a new cat and was ready to pursue new professional endeavors. Jenelle admits, "We actually were having conversations," as she works through the death. She continues, "This was just such a shock. He had all the resources that he could have needed." She also talks about her sentiments before to his passing, saying, "I really actually had sort of thought like, okay, maybe he's finally starting to get his momentum." Acknowledging how challenging life can be, she continues, "It's hard in your 20s to find your path. And because I was rather excited, it came as a huge shock because there was absolutely no clue." Jenelle Brown wishes to address the notion that mental health can be a secret battle, as the newest season of Sister Wives is set to premiere on television next week. She acknowledges that a lot of young men his age suffer from untreated mental health issues. Unquestionably, Jenelle emphasizes the need for greater action and understanding surrounding mental health in order to prevent another terrible circumstance similar to that of Garrison Brown's suicide. Reiterating the devastating lesson she received, she says, "We just had no idea." She also says we should be speaking more, especially about mental health for men, and that there's no shame in getting help and seeking help. "We were very shocked by this." But Jenelle Brown has not only realized how easily concealed problems might go unnoticed, she is also bringing about changes inside her family. As a result, after Garrison Brown passed away, the Browns have adopted new habits. She says rather openly, "We're very real and we assess." She goes on saying, "We're always like, okay, so what about mental health? When life circumstances arise, we don't simply sort of gloss over what's actually going on. Instead, we actually say the words and wait to hear it." I believe that in our family, we're definitely placing greater value on mental wellness. As a mother, Jenelle Brown has had to consider if there was anything she might have done better, but she acknowledges that she gave Garrison her best effort. "We were definitely, and I would encourage everybody to be that way, we were having real conversations with him," she recalls, reflecting on what we may have done differently. "We were showing him our love, our support, and our constant conversation. Everything was in its place. Basically, it was just something he could not get over, much like the monster he was unable to defeat in the battle. He was unable to move on." Even though Jenelle Brown is inconsolable as she considers the what-ifs, she is sure that she loved him all of his life. "It just wasn't for a lack of affection or anything else," she claims. "And all I can do is think, we always question ourselves whether there was anything more we could have done, but we never know." Jenelle is aware that she has to carry on with her life. "I think that's a grief trap," she declares, adding that in the end, each person is in charge of their own choices and actions. "However, we completed every task. We genuinely took all the possible actions. Sadly, there are instances when that still isn't enough. Nevertheless, Jenelle makes an effort to love passionately and cherish her time with her surviving family members every day. She will never stop giving her loved ones her all, even though she regrettably doesn't know how she could have saved Garrison. If you're fighting a quiet war, ask for assistance. In addition, show compassion and consideration to people who could be fighting a similar battle. Have you encountered any terrible lessons akin to those that Jenelle Brown is embracing? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Star of Sister Wives Jenelle Brown is an extremely sentimental person whose love has no boundaries. She puts all into her relationship and works hard to keep it going. Nevertheless, there have been times when she has had to deal with the tragic deaths of her mother and son when some of her loved ones were taken from her. Jenelle recently talked about an emotional occurrence that happened recently in the midst of all of this. She described how she apparently traveled back in time after hearing her mother's whispers. Is this accurate? What's the deal with this? Jenelle heard her mother's voice, but how? Jenelle Brown heard her mother whisper. Sister Wives. The mother of Jenelle Brown was a cast member of the first Sister Wives. Viewers witnessed the celebrity breaking into bits as her tragic demise was also shown. Jenelle can still hear her mother's voice years after she came to terms with the reality. She recently shared on Instagram how, for no apparent reason, something ordinary made her think of the grandmother. Just before ironing a denim shirt, Jenelle shared a photo of it on social media. She disclosed that the temperature had dropped sufficiently for her to wear long sleeves, and she was about to iron them when her mother's voice reached her ears. The famous person said, "I can still hear my mom's voice." Jenelle went on to say that her mother would always advise her to start with the little things, collar, cuff, yoke, and work her way up to larger ones. Jenelle also acknowledged that sometimes the smallest things are the ones that stick with people the longest. Her mother passed away in 2022. Jenelle continued, "I just want to say thanks, Mom, for being you all those years ago." This indicates that, like Garrison, Jenelle has maintained a strong bond with her mother and frequently thinks back on them both. The loss of Sister Wives star Garrison Brown has left Jenelle feeling empty within. When she discovered that her cherished kid had passed away, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. The celebrity was in disbelief and had a difficult time getting over this awful experience. But Jenelle started living for her other children and started spending more time with them. She took care to spend as much time as possible creating memories with her kids and boys. Jenelle still clearly misses Garrison despite everything. She recently sent the latter a photo in which he appeared to be kissing her. Love was evident in the photo, which had fans crying. The celebrity further disclosed that, despite not seeing Garrison for 6 months, she still receives images of their time together every other day. "Sometimes it doesn't seem like you're gone," she continued. Jenelle acknowledged that she occasionally gets affected hard by nostalgia. Every memory flashes before her eyes as she recalls how she will never hear Garrison's voice again. The mother was filled with hope, eager to see her son as soon as her journey came to an end. The Sister Wives star Jenelle Brown talked about her son Robert Garrison Brown's struggle with substance misuse before he committed himself, 6 months after his death. "I believe that drug misuse was truly one of the main contributing factors for him," Jenelle, 55, stated in a People interview that was released on Wednesday, September 11th. "I have no idea what we could have done in a different way." The mother of 6 continued by saying that before Garrison passed away, she and the huge family spoke with him frequently and provided resources to assist him find help for his addiction. "We loved him and spoke to him all the time. Everything was in its place. It was truly just something he was unable to do, just like the monster he was unable to defeat in the battle. He was unable to move on. And it simply wasn't for lack of love or anything else," Jenelle continued. On March 5th, Garrison, who Jenelle shares with her ex-husband Kody Brown, was discovered dead in his Flagstaff, Arizona, home after taking his own gunshot wound. Gabriel Brown, his younger brother, found his body the night before after Jenelle's texts went unanswered. Jenelle told responding cops she should have gotten Garrison help before his death, according to a police report that In Touch later received. The reality star still feels could we have done something more, but I don't know. "I think that's a grief trap because I think everybody is ultimately responsible for their own actions and their own decisions," says the reality star, who also shares daughters Madison, Savannah, and sons Hunter and Logan with her ex. We completed every task, she said to People. To be honest, we took all possible action. Unfortunately, there are instances when it still isn't sufficient. Jenelle and Kody, both 55, shared a statement on their individual social media accounts at the time of his passing. At the time they said, "Kody and I are deeply saddened to announce the loss of our beautiful boy Robert Garrison Brown. He brought joy and brightness to everyone he came in contact with. We shall be left speechless at the void his loss has left in our lives." Days before the start of Sister Wives Season 19, on September 5th, Jenelle shared a touching recollection on Instagram in remembrance of her late son on the 6th anniversary of his passing. "We just ask that you respect our privacy and join us in remembering his memory. I see you in my picture recollections nearly every day." She posted a picture of herself cuddling Garrison with the caption, "Sometimes it doesn't seem like you're gone. And then it all comes flooding back. And I realize I won't be receiving any calls or texts from you. I know you fought hard, but in the end you just couldn't stay," she said. "I shall see you again after my adventure is over since I love you so much." The terrible death of Garrison Brown has left the Brown family still in the process of getting over it. The Sister Wives actor self-inflicted a gunshot wound and was discovered dead at his Flagstaff home. On the tiny screen, audiences have been witnessing Garrison's development for years. He also discussed his disagreements with his father, Kody Brown, in most of the seasons. The father and son disagreed about how to address the global pandemic. In the end, Garrison felt that the polygamous patriarch had deserted him. Since COVID, Garrison and Kody had not spoken to one another and remained deeply apart. Regretfully, the two had no buddy-slash-buddy relationship and were unable to get back together before to his demise. However, none anticipated Garrison's demise. The family is determined to preserve Garrison's legacy in a very special way, despite the fact that they are still in deep grief over this horrible loss. Garrison channeled a multitude of interests and was several things at once. Having his Hawaiian t-shirt, Bob's Florals, was one of his pride and delights. Just before the global pandemic struck in 2019, Garrison launched his online clothes store. The shop included dresses, swimsuits, and shirts. Following a fast-paced introduction, Garrison momentarily stopped his clothes line. Regretfully, the store was never reopened under Garrison's leadership. The sixth child of Kody stated at the time, saying, "My reopening plan is big but needs time to be executed. I wish for Bob's Florals to be made domestically, and with care and passion for those who seek an easygoing lifestyle." It appears that the Brown family wants to preserve the history of unrestricted and simple living. According to the U.S. Sun, some of Garrison's family members want to reopen the store in his memory. Bob's Floral LLC is still operational and legitimate. A family clothes source said that the family intends to carry on with his dream. He was definitely planning on working on his clothing, but to be honest, he wasn't really doing much of anything before his death, the person said. Viewers of Sister Wives discovered that Garrison was really low. Even though admirers were impatiently waiting, Garrison had no imminent plans to relaunch his site, according to The Insider, who also claimed that he was depressed and unhappy, and he didn't feel like he was getting much success from anything. But the Browns have made the decision to reopen Bob's Floral, they said. But now, strangely enough, there are conversations within the family about how they're going to try to keep his legacy alive. Given her background in both money and creativity, I could imagine Jenelle Brown leading the charge. This would be the ideal pastime to keep her occupied and honor her son after parting ways with Kody. They plan on carrying on some of his dreams, which can be done by his brothers, the person said. The Insider also revealed that the Browns are working on creating a foundation for him. Although there are a few concepts under consideration, one possibility for the foundation's focus is animal rescue. They're going to turn what happened into a positive, the family source said, referring to how Garrison's passing drew the Brown family together for an unplanned get-together. After a severe falling out, some of Garrison's siblings hadn't seen their father in years. Fans of Sister Wives were able to see that Kody, Robyn Brown, Mary Brown, and Christine Brown were present in the funeral images. There were also Hunter Brown, Paydon Brown, Michael T. Brown, and Leon Brown. To honor Garrison, everyone chose to wear his clothing. Kody went with a blue suit jacket and a pink dress suit. He didn't feel like parading around in a colorful wardrobe, because he was in grief. Choosing to wear the shirts was a sentimental thing between the kids. The source said, so even if Garrison is no longer with us, his legacy will live on. Fans of Sister Wives were shocked to hear that Garrison Brown had died of natural causes earlier this month. When Jenelle Brown requested that the 25-year-old be checked on, his brother discovered him dead in his Arizona home. Those who have followed TLC since 2010 have grown to appreciate the enormous polygamous household that Garrison and his elder brothers grew up in front of the television. Regretfully, as Garrison grew older, he and his father, Kody Brown, had arguments that led to a major family dispute. In recent years, Garrison has been increasingly resentful of his father. He believed that Kody preferred Robyn Brown, his fourth and favorite wife, to the other members of the family, as he was shown telling his mother that he no longer needed a father figure in the previous season. Garrison looked unhappy. Although viewers could see that Garrison was hurt, the exchange was sad to hear. Following Garrison's funeral, fans are reflecting on his time on Sister Wives and reliving the good moments. It comes as no surprise to Brown's fans who have followed Garrison around from the beginning that his real name is Robert. However, why did John Hancock change? For the previous 5 years, Robert was his username on Instagram. He began to address himself as Bob or Robert, although his family continued to name him Garrison. This was a subtle switch. Fortunately, I remember a fair amount of the history of Sister Wives. Jenelle mentioned that the family had always called Garrison back in a previous season. His first name was chosen to honor her late father, which explains why. Robert was his name. Although the name was intended as an homage, I find it puzzling that Kody and Jenelle didn't simply give Robert the middle name. He was called by his first name by the teachers during attendance, nevertheless, when he first entered school. Since he was still a small child, he didn't correct them, which is why the majority of his acquaintances refer to Garrison as Robert. Supporters have also questioned why, in the past, his social media handle was Robert the Brown. Robert the Bruce was, in fact, the 9th son of a Norman knight. It was believed that he was Scotland's first sovereign. Is it possible that Garrison, who enjoyed history as we all know, saw himself as the head of his family and a warrior against his father's COVID-19 regulations? It wouldn't be impossible for Garrison to come up with a clever, cryptic moniker for himself. Kody and his 4 spouses brought up their kids as members of the Apostolic United Brethren AUB, a sect that numbers over 10,000 members and is known as the Principle. They are Mormon fundamentalists. The majority of them are dispersed across Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, Arizona, and Montana. It is well known that the AUB engages in polygamy, just as the Browns. Since her grandpa, Rulon C. Allred, was the founder of the Apostolic United Brethren, Christine Brown was also regarded as royalty within that organization. However, many of the older kids had different opinions and desired their own mini marriages. Among them was Garrison, who was baptized into the LDS Mormon Church 4 years prior. Garrison, an LDS member, came to believe in the existence of multiple gods. It is possible for humans to become gods, but the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are 3 distinct gods. The truly intriguing part is that Maddie Brown, Garrison's elder sister, also desired baptism but was denied permission by the LDS Church. It turns out that she would not be permitted to attend the church since she would not separate herself from her highly visible family. However, Garrison did distance himself, particularly from his father, who made the shift somewhat simpler.